We work on high-end race boats and large performance multi-hulls. And our work takes us all over the world. When we are not working on clients' boats, this is our home. Life is sailing, exploring and upgrading our Katana 42. Because we are composite professionals, many of our mods to Paikea include a lot of carbon fibre. But not every change we make to Paikea includes carbon. Our current mods are about removing heavy timber throughout the boat and replacing it with lightweight composite parts. And lots and lots and lots and lots of sanding and painting.
Alright, so today I'm working on sanding all the filler that I put in down the bottom of the stairs yesterday. And up here is where all the action is happening. That's Ollie's foil board, which seems to be distracting him quite a bit. So he has put his carbon skin on it last night. And he's going to do that tomorrow.
I spent about 20-30 hours on that already.
Looking pretty cool. Alright, and we are rerunning all of the wires from in the main cabin there. At the moment they went all under the bed. So Shane just put in that little protrusion yesterday. And now we're taking it all out of there. They've already taken it out of, well, they're taking it out of that spot there. And what it's going to do is run down here through the holes that Shane made all the way across and out there, which is going to run under the steps. So that's today's project. Alright, this is my job today. I've got to pull out everything that's in here. Take that hatch out. Take that hatch out. Cover them up with tape like this one. So that Mum can bog all around. Go on, Dad. Give it the beans. You got this. Come on. I think it's just this though. Okay, Shane, talk me through this because this is our door for
Spaceship!
I don't know if it's spaceship. I think it's
Spaceship!
It's a bit more like a barn door.
I can build that! I can build a spaceship!
So tell me what's your thought process behind this one?
So it's a lightweight door. Our bulkheads that this door is going to are 20 millimeters thick. I've got two options. I can run a really thin door, and when the door is closed, have it set back inside the door. And I don't want to have a door frame with a door. Is it a reveal? A reveal? Or the thingy that the door sort of comes up against, because that leaves thin, sharp edges on the boat. I'm running the program where we basically have a really small, narrow tolerance between the door and the door frame, so that you can't really see through or past the door due to it's got a really small gap around it. But to have the door mechanism, I don't want a normal standard door mechanism because they're big, heavy lumps of metal, so I want super simple gate latch style things, basically one moving part that requires the door to be 20 mil thick to then have basically two little sliding plates go each side of the bulkhead. So that dictated the thickness of my door. I don't need a 20 mil thick door because it's a super lightweight door. All it does is keep eyes from going from one side of the door frame to the other. So I could get away with 10 mil. So I'm going to have 20 mil on the edge, but I only require 10 mil. So I put a second 10 mil around the edge to get my 20 mil thickness where I needed it. I've got my 10 mil thickness where I need it, and to make it look a little bit cool, I put the diagonals in it as well.
No. So Shane thinks it looks like a spaceship door and I think it looks like a barn door. We'll see.
And of course it makes it 10 times harder to build.
Yeah, I don't know. You've just made a heap of extra work for yourself there.
Yeah.
Like how much weight do you think you're actually going to save?
I saved 350 grams.
Oh my God. All right.
Which is 1/4 of the weight of the core door. So it's 25% weight saving in the core.
Okay.
alone.
Okay. Oh my God.
So it's pretty light.
Yeah, it's very light. And then here is the door frame that we're talking about. So this will be our door into the main cabin. And these are actually all of our, underneath vacuum cleaner is all of our wires that are running out. Cleaned up, Aiden fixed up the holes there and here, so he's going to laminate them probably tomorrow. Top coat is on the inside of the shelves, and we're now pretty much good there. That's Starlink and our electrical cables running there, and then below is water. Actually, I think that's water and Starlink down there, and then the rest of the electric's up there. Yeah. Oh, almost forgot. This is composite door for the engine room is in. Shane didn't like the barrel bolt arrangement that he bought, so he's 3D printed something that is a lot nicer and firmer. It's not going to rattle around as much. Carbon fibre door frame holding this aft section in. That is our winch base. Harrison has templated up. He's going to make a bit of glass plate as a backing plate for the winch. Up in here was originally where our jib sheet track goes, so we're getting rid of that, and it hatches here that we will do with, and we're getting rid of that and probably putting a longitudinal in there. So we're almost done. Okay, and then on the other side is just more preparation for paint. So I have been keeping going with that. More in here. We're going to keep this bathroom on the port side. So out of this room, out of Aiden's room, this week we've got rid of 67 kilos just in the furniture and stuff out of there. So that's pretty cool, but it's going to need a bit of tidying up now. So we're going to replace all of this with composite, put a new shower pan floor in. This is going to be completely watertight. Fix up all of these holes that are in this aft bulkhead through to the engine room. And yeah, and make this into a nice little ensuite. Which should be good. I think that's about all that there is. I don't have a lot more to report on, Shane Young. Don't have that much to report on, really. It's been wing foiling, wing pump board central.
Oh, no. What have I been working on? I've been busy building stuff. I can't even remember what.
Hey, you hung the door.
Door frames.
Door frames and hanging doors.
Yeah, doors. Lots and lots and lots of detail work. Like all the door frames, little things like solid glass inserts where all the hinges bolt into, so that they're all tapped and threaded with machine screws, not self-tappers, into a little skin and a bit of foam. So that's all a lot more robust. What else? Surely I've done something else. It's been a bloody busy week.
It's been super busy. And then we have a little Oliver's side project going on there. So he's been putting a bit of what he's learnt to into practice, and wanted to make himself a little pump board. So he has been having a ball with it, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's kept him very, very busy.
So now he's just waiting for that resin to dry.
Cure.
Sorry, cure. It's waiting for the resin to cure. And when it's dry, he can sand it. Oh, so are you going to infuse this?
Yeah. Sure will. Okay, kids. So don't try this at home. This was one of those great ideas that was not a great idea. So in my great wisdom of trying to save 300 grams of foam core, I made this job 10 times harder. Now I'll try to explain why it was 10 times harder. You can see here that there's a lot of geometry in the doorway that I've got to get all that fabric to go around. And every time that fabric has to go up and down and in and out a little bit of geometry, it changes the direction of the fiber. So I need to try and keep the fiber, or the fibers in the cloth, aligned at approximately 0.90 for it to work the way I intend it to. But every time I went over a ridge, it would change it a few degrees. So I had to balance the way that the cloth sleezed and slewed and moved around all that geometry. And of course, to know which way it was going to change, I had to start at one edge and see how it went, and then it wouldn't be right, so I'd have to pull it up, start in another place, move all the fibers around, try and get it to balance from one side to the other to sort of say it would be about right on this side of the door and that side of the door. Absolute nightmare. And also then making sure that I got it all to lay down into the corners. You can see me rolling the piece of roll of tape in there. That's helping me to push the fiber right into the corner so it's not bridging. And all of this was, I can't even describe how painful it was. Now you see a little can of spray just at the bottom of the screen there. That was my only saving grace with this whole thing. Now, I mentioned it before, that I'd been getting the spray tack from Easy Composites. Without that stuff, this job would have been nigh on impossible. That spray is actually really good in that one. When you spray it on both surfaces, it tacks, and it tacks really well, and it sticks really, really well. But it's just got enough release that if I do need to pull it up and reposition it, I can do it without completely wrecking the orientation or the weave of the cloth. So I've used spray tacks in the past with a super sticky, but you got to pull it up and it actually makes all the fibers in the cloth go to cack and essentially destroys the cloth. So yeah, a bit of a kudos to Easy Composites again in supplying a good product. That's really helped me through this very painful process. And to give you an idea of how painful this is, putting that one layer of 300 gram cloth on that door took me nearly 2 hours. So bad idea. Now, to add injury to insult, I had to get this prepared for infusion.
I think it's insult to injury.
Oh, there you go. See, I can't even get it right. I was so.
You might be right, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. Anyway, so after this, so the fabric that I'm putting down here, it does allow me to warp it a bit so that it will conform over all this geometry. Now, when if you've worked with peel ply, everyone will know how much peel ply does not conform to complicated geometry. So this was actually the easy step of it all. Putting the peel ply down was just as challenging, but I did have one advantage with the peel ply that I did not have with the cloth. I could cut the peel ply and put lots and lots of joins in it. So I managed to get it all down. It was still painful, but I could cut it. With my one piece of fabric here, my e-glass cloth, everyone's going to ask, why didn't you just cut and join the cloth? Well, when you're talking a 0.3 millimeter skin on a door, I don't want to overlap it because it makes fairing difficult and all the rest of it. It's already difficult enough as it was / is. So to put extra joins in there just wasn't needed, and I'm quite particular about keeping all my cloth one piece and one continuous piece without joins if I possibly can. Anyway, so yeah, so it was an absolute nightmare, not only to put the cloth down, but to put the peel ply down, to put the transfer medium down, and then I had to put a vacuum bag over this and get the vacuum bag to conform to all of this shape, push all of the transfer medium down into those little tiny ridges and edges and have no bridging. Because if I had any bridging in those corners or edges, it just fills up with resin and makes my door heavy. So yeah, so to say that this great idea was not such a great idea, that's a small description of how painful it was and why it was so painful.
And then you only did one side too, then you had to go and do...
Yeah, the other side was dead flat on the table, and the comparison of that compared to this complicated geometry side, well, one, after it's all finished for the fairing and painting process, the flat side like literally took 5 minutes to sand. The shape with all the spaceship shapes in it, barn door shapes in it.
Barn door
Shapes in it. Has taken nearly a day. So yeah, and because it's a very thin skin, you got to be very delicate with your sanding so that you don't sand through that edge, because it's very easy to sand through the edges, and if you sand through the edge, that means you've got no laminate there, which means you have to do a repair, which then means a lump, which makes it harder to fair, and it's just a compounding problem. So we are not going to do that again. Quite safe to say.
So I'm finishing off doors down in our cabin. So Shane has made a very technically, he tried to make something that was really light and really cool and look a bit like a spaceship door, and has been a lot of work for him to build it.
It's been a pain in the ass.
He's regretted every moment of it, and it's been a lot of work for me to then sort of prepare it and fair it ready for painting. So I've been working on that for the last few days. We did manage to get the doorway done in the engine room. Actually, I'm going to just take you down and show you what I've been up to. It's starting to get hot here in Spain, so kids have been pretty good at, and Harry has sealed me in, or sealed me out, and put in a little portable air conditioner. Okay, so this is the door that Shane's done. So he did it with 10mm foam, 10mm foam, and then put some reinforcing struts on there with the idea that he could sort of reinforce it, keep the width where we needed it, excuse me, but make it super light. It's ended up being way too much work, and we're probably not going to do another one like this, but we think it looks like a barn door. But if you see Shane, tell him you like his spaceship door, because he thinks it looks like a spaceship. Okay, we have finished this one though. This was a lot more simpler. So this is now installed. The bolt, we did buy these. We didn't like the fact that the bolt casing in which it was in sort of rattled around a bit, so Shane's 3D printed something a bit nicer there. And it's all painted, so that's all installed, ready to go. So I've just been telling them about your spaceship door.
Spaceship door.
Spaceship! That doesn't look like a barn door at all.
Great idea, bad idea. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Seemed like a good idea.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Don't
do that again. Shane.
No, we're not going to do any more spaceship barn doors. I've spoken, we've already installed that one in the engine room, so now if we can get this one painted, we can mount it in here, which means then I can finish off bearing and prepping for paint.